Hello and welcome. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Tina Slade Quantum Light Language Healer. And I, on my journey of awakening, have been able to be involved with many things. And I started off on my journey as a tarot reader and also a Reiki master and a medium. And I thought I would share with you something I've been teaching on my development groups, and that's about intuitive tarot reading or oracle reading. And as always, when I teach, I offer the information out for your discernment. See if it resonates with you. And if you can use it and expand your consciousness, then that's exactly what this is all about. So with love, grace and honour, thank you so much for tuning in. And the reason I'm going to explain to you about how to read oracle cards is because many people will go online and they will pick some cards, and then as soon as they get back, they will open up the book and start reading the book and really taking that information in terms of doing their reading. So it becomes very left brain. And for those of you who work with me, you know that I'm always teaching people how to move from the left brain into the right brain. So first of all, when you're going to choose your deck of oracle cards, always go to what is drawn to you. And it might actually be something that you hadn't considered working with. A lot of us assume that because friends have a certain type of deck of cards, that we should be working with those. And that isn't the case. Remember that as our vibration changes, you will be drawn to use different decks of cards until you get to the point where I'm at this point, where I simply just use the energy field. I come into my client's energy field and I'm able to gain all of their information from going into their personal blueprint. And you will be able to get to that stage, but know that it's a journey of learning and discovery. And the biggest thing I would say when you are coming in to do readings for yourself or for others is that trust your intuition. Trust what is right in your heart and your chest. You don't need to have a book or read the book or refer to the book. So many people will say, oh, I'm going to pull you a card. And then they pull out the book and give you the explanation from the book, which is fantastic. However, that's not where we need to be going. If we are going to be really listening to our higher self, connecting to our higher self, we need to be sitting within our intuition and within our belief system. So the first thing is, when you're going to choose your cards, simply find out what you're drawn to. And whatever you're drawn to is right for you in this now moment, knowing that when you then move forward and you're able to trust yourself more and the more information comes to you, that the chances are that you will change in the decks of cards that you are using, and you will only use them as a visual aid, because that's all they are. They're a visual aid for you, but mainly for your client or your friends to have a look at and to actually bring that information in at the same time. So when you understand that these are not set in stone, you will pull cards for clients or for friends, and you will read them absolutely differently each time you work. So it's no point in knowing what the book means, because it depends on what format they fall in for you to understand. So when we are intuitively reading our cards, I simply get the book and I throw it away because we just don't need it. So choose whatever deck of cards works for you and that you are drawn to. For this sort of learning, I'm going to be working with the Queen of Moon Oracle cards. And I'll explain to you why I'm drawn to them, and you'll be able to see what they can offer someone in terms of understanding. And just before I came on to do this recording, I did a little recording on my Instagram page. So I always, on a Monday, pull 3 cards for the coming week so that people who want to understand what's coming up are a little bit forewarned. And when I finished doing that and I was using the angel cards, I pulled a card for me and the card came up with do the work, So I thought, well, actually, I need to get on and share this information with you. So once you've pulled your deck of cards, what I would do as well is I would find some way of cleansing them. Because remember, these cards have been created for you in a factory and they've been in transit, and sometimes even come from different countries. I had a deck of cards that came from China, and I definitely need to cleanse them when they came. So the way that I would suggest you do that, I do it with my light language. And if you have light language in, then I would simply place the deck of cards and the box all together. And in fact, I do the deck of cards first and then the box, because remember, it will sit within the box, therefore it will also pick up the energy, so you need to clear that too. And I would simply place it within my hands. I would bring light through my hands using my light language, and I will clear the deck. If your light language isn't through yet, that's absolutely fine. I simply bring down a channel of light through my crown. I bring it all the way down my arms, so I'm actually pulsing out 2 balls of light through my hands here, and I will simply place them onto the deck of cards. Sometimes if I feel that there's energy in them, I will tap them both sides and I'll blow them. So I make sure all of that energy is removed from the cards. And then we're ready to work. So also, when you might go onto other sites that teach you how to read cards, they might tell you about all sorts of fancy spreads that you can do, and you have to remember them, the Celtic cross and this, that and the other. And once again, whether it's just because I am a bit of a maverick, there was an orb that's just gone through the top of my screen. Quite usual when I'm working. I'm a bit of a rule breaker, so for me, I don't do anything around spreads. I do whatever is right for me. I will pull as many cards as I need to pull, and I will work with my intuition, with my higher self. You don't need to have fancy spreads, because as you tune into your energy, your client's energy, then you will be able to spread and pull cards in all directions to form a story, because that's all we're doing. We're forming a cosmic story. So I would then ask, if it's for you, I would just shuffle and I would place my energy into the card. Sometimes cards will jump out, twist over. They're the cards that are being shown that you need. If you are working for yourself, there is a little bit of a warning here. We are all energy, and therefore our wishes, our desires are energy forms of ourself. And we have the ability to place what we want into our cards. So sometimes it's a little bit hard to be removed from our reading. So just be aware that we can influence the cards that we pull positively and negatively. So I just want you to stand that in the back of your mind and know that when we're reading, we have to come from a place of not the left brain interpreting what we're doing, but from the right brain, from the higher self, understanding that actually sometimes the messages which are coming into the card spread are not necessarily what we want to hear or what we want to see. And when you understand that and you can read from a higher perspective, then you've got this nailed. When you read and you interpret what you want into your reading, that's when you're left brain. So it is quite hard to read for yourself. I certainly don't do it because I know that I can influence what comes up in the cards. Therefore, if I want any information, I just tune into my higher self and to my guides. And then you can get that information and then maybe channel it through writing or just simply decipher the information that's given to you. So let's take it that we're actually going to be reading for friends or for clients when you get really experienced. So I would ask them, first of all, to shuffle the cards. And as they shuffle, I also project their image into the cards that they're working with. And they shuffle. Now, if a card flips over, then that has to be in the cards, in the spread. If it doesn't, and sometimes it doesn't, you'll find, so just as I was doing that now, that card flipped over. Let me just get 3 cards and then I can tell you what else to do if they don't flip over. Okay, that's the other one. And this is the last one. If the cards don't jump out at you, then simply ask your friend or client to split the deck of cards into 2 or even into 3, whatever you're guided to do, and to choose which of the cards to work from after they've shuffled and placed their intention. So if they're coming to you for a specific reason, something's happening, get them to put their intention into the cards. So as they're shuffling, ask them to ask the questions that they want the answers to. So they do that, they shuffle. If nothing has popped out, then simply get them maybe to split the card into deck into 3 or into 2 from which ones you work from, and then ask them to choose which they would like you to work from. So we have our cards, and then all we simply do is we put them down on the ground or on a table, wherever you're working, in the order in which they've showed themselves. And then this is where the magic happens. This is where you truly have to trust and believe. So before we've done this, I would also recommend that you place some protection around both of you. So whenever I'm in my cabin, I always know that I'm working under the protection of my master pyramid. But for you, I would place maybe a white light all the way around you. And for me, I always work within the pyramid light because it is the most powerful. And just drop a pyramid from the top of you underneath the bottom, as above as below. So when you're all protected, then we can start looking at the cards. We'll look at the first card. So the first card comes up, the path. Now, what I'd like to say to you is that every card will be different. Every card will be different. Yes, we will take what the title is, the path, but what we now do is we look beyond the writing and we look into our intuitive self and we start looking at what within that picture is calling to us. What is our interpretation? If you are visual, it becomes a lot easier for you. So the way I work with my guides and when I'm channeling is that I will always be shown pictures which give me analogies that I can then explain to my clients, and it's very much easier for them to understand. So we start being creative and we start using our imagination, which is the right side of our brain. And the imagination is our link into our higher self and into the cosmic realms. So we look at the card and we first of all say, right, what is it I'm drawn to? And once again, it will be different in every spread. So the first thing I'm drawn to is this rope ladder here that goes up into this vision. So for me, the first thing that I would say is that actually your path has been quite difficult because the path is going up and it feels as though that's quite heavy, and that there has been perhaps a bit of an uphill struggle to get to where you want to. I'm also drawn, and when I do work, I have to say that even when I work with the Rider-Waite pack, and I've worked with them for many, many, many years, I don't do them now, but when I do work or did work with them, I will see things in that card different every time. Every time it's like the card is a portal and it will be shown to me whatever needs to be seen, which isn't the same for everyone. So here I'm drawn to these stars, and of which case I will say, actually, you are very protected. Although your journey has been long and arduous, it's been uphill, you have been very protected on your journey. And sometimes when I will be linking into these, I will either be linking into their guides or I'll be linking into spirit who are working with me to advise my clients. So, and as we look at this, I'll then start looking here. Okay, this draws me. So I will then come in here and say, right, what does this mean to me? So for me, these are issues that my client or the person I'm reading for has been having to deal with. And I will start to feel energetically where those are. So I might come into maybe the solar plex. And I know that when we come into the solar plex, it's because we hold what I call junk in the trunk, and it's information in there from past life as well as present that we hold on to. So I will start looking at here, what am I drawn to? And I might ask when I'm working, what energy centers are these blockages are actually relating to? It might well be the third eye, where we're not using our intuition. It might be the throat, where we're not speaking our truth. Use your intuition and find out what it is that's been causing, in this reading, this journey to be such a heavy journey and an uphill struggle. I will also come into here where I'm drawn very much into the scene around the clouds and the sea. And I will say that although we've had this turbulent journey, we are coming into a time of stillness. And it might well be that I say to who I'm reading for, I want you to find your place of stillness. I want you to find your place of 0 point contact where you can just sit and observe. Because I want them to be reflective, because that is what that card is saying to me. I want you to use this time to be reflective, because the next part of this that I'm drawn to is the outer side of this card, and that to me is about balance and rebirth. It's about understanding the journey, and it is about what do we need to do to come back into full alignment. So can you see that by reading from one card, I'm not looking at the book, I'm not interested in what the book says. I'm looking about what that card and my connection into that other energy field is giving me that I need to tell that person. And actually, as we're talking, I'm looking also at this light colour change here. And it is very much for me a time of contemplation, a time of reflection and understanding where the path has brought me to right now. So trust that when you decode all of the imagery in your cards, you will build up that story. But you have to trust and say the very first things that come into your mind. Therefore, you can connect into that energy field. So that's the first card. So then we go on to the second card, and it's very much like reading a book. These are chapters in the story in which you're telling. So the second card is beautiful. The second card here is self-love. Quite self-explanatory, but makes absolute sense when you link it into the first card that we have read, because we're saying that the pathway has led us to this point of having to come into alignment. Therefore, having to come into alignment is about you journeying within. And once again, I will look at the images here. So first of all, I'm coming into the pink, which will be for me around the heart center. What is it within your heart that needs healing? What is within your heart that needs to be seen, to be understood? And what needs to be released? I'll also be drawn into this colour as well. Can you see the slightly different colour here? Very spiritual. It's about connecting into your guides, connecting into your knowing. And I will come down into the face, because the face is looking away and it's not looking forward. So for me, that is about what are you still fixated on in the past that needs to be released in order for you to switch your vision and to look towards the future. Because instead of looking down, if you were to look up, you would come into this beautiful light here, which for me is the multiverse. It's the opportunities. It's all the things which come to you, which you perhaps do not see. So I will be completely drawn into all of this area here. I might even come down as well. Can you see how her arms are? I might even come in with, you keep yourself very closed. You're a very closed book. It indicates to me, as I'm linking in, that you keep people at a little bit of a distance. It's difficult for people to come in close into you because you hold a wall around you. And then remember, We're not here to tell someone what to do. When we do a reading for anybody, we have to use such discernment, because people come to us for readings when they are at their lowest ebb, at their lowest place, and they want guidance. But we have free will. So please never, never, never tell anyone what they should do. You give them the options which are available, because they have already chosen that route. They just need it to be shown to them. So I will say that you hold yourself away, maybe slightly aloof. What do you need to do? And do you want to bring your barriers down so that you can switch your perspective, look up to the opportunities? You can heal the soul wounds held within the heart, and then you can start to flourish. And then the third card, which was pulled in the reading, lovely. So remember, sometimes you might have the two cards which form a beautiful story, but there's something that needs to be told. And then the next card might feel as though it doesn't fit in alignment, but actually it's what needs to be understood. So what I would tend to do, and this is simply how I work, I would put the two cards at the top, and then I would place the hunger at the bottom in between the two cards. It doesn't matter. It's just how I would work. So hunger. What is it that you are hungry for? And as soon as I see that, I'm coming into the throat center. What is it that is unheard that needs to be spoken? Because it's creating, and as I look at this full moon, yes, it's very powerful, but actually it's causing a lot of negative energy. It's causing a lot of blockages and barriers to how we want to move on. Because the wolf is simply staring up and calling to the moon. And for me, that is about being stuck in one place. And it is also about speaking our truth. I'm drawn very much, if you look around the moon, there is this beautiful aura. And it's about, what do you need to do in order to shift and move along the pathway? What do you need to honour yourself in? And what needs to be spoken and released? Because the full moon is about releasing. And then the chances are on those cards, I would pull another card, because you always want to leave a reading on a positive. You don't want to leave a reading on a heavy card, which is what I would, thank you, which is what I would, which is what I would call, this card feels heavy. So remember, start feeling the energy of your cards. And we end the reading on this card, which is peace. And that's just beautiful. So what does that card mean to you? What do you see? What are you drawn to? Because that will be the end of the reading, and that's what your client or friend will go away with. So when we look at peace, what do you look at? What do you see? What does it mean to you? And how does it feel? So if I were finishing this reading, I would pretty much say, do you know what? This is how you find your peace. I look at all of these here. The ring, the circle is a continuation. It's representative of infinity. Therefore, you come into center alignment. You come into your place of peace and tranquility. You come into your growth and you open up. Look at all these amazing colours. Look at all these beautiful colours. You open up your destiny. You open up why you are here. And you come into your bravery and your courage. And you sit centered and aligned to who you are in your truth. All of that information comes simply from reading the card, which is only a visual aid to you connecting into your higher self, into the I am presence. So you can read any card. As I say to when I'm teaching. You can read a pavement. It simply is a means of you focusing your mind and connecting into the bigger cosmic journey. So I really hope that helped. I say to you, throw away the rule book, throw away everything you've been told and taught, and come into what you know, come into who you are, come into your knowing, and then you can offer guidance to others. You can connect to the oracle that's within you, the person who can find those little chinks in the energy field and verbalize them to give just hope and energy to other people. Because that's why we use the cards when we're stuck and we need to know where we're going. They are just a very quick reference of how to move forward. When we're finished, I will always thank my team. I will thank them for the work that they allow me to do. And I will always make sure that my client or whoever I'm working for is happy. If they have any questions, I can link in afterwards. But you know what? At this stage, why don't you just get used to tapping into your energy, tapping into your knowing? Find a deck of cards that work for you. Know, as I say, that they will change as your energy changes, and just play. Just play in the quantum world, because that's all we're doing. All we're doing is we're tapping into the energy field. So I really hope that's helped. Once again, if you have any questions, just message me. You can also message me on my Facebook page, which is under Light Soul Spirit, and I will respond to you. And just simply find the magic of connecting to others and of being just a help and a beacon of light, because that's what you are. So thank you so much for listening to this very quick whistle-stop tour of using your intuition. Good luck, and just be amazing, because that's what you're here to be, a shining star. Lots of love, and thank you so much for subscribing. Bye-bye.